everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video on the jumping fundamentals. This video I touch on this topic a lot in a lot of my videos, and I thought that I would dedicate a whole video to it and kind of the 5 things that when I'm jumping I am aiming to achieve, basically. So yeah, let's get right into it. First thing I'm looking for when I'm jumping is a forward horse, or forward momentum, impulsion, whatever you want to call it. I need my horse to be in front of the leg and going forward. A lot of what I'm going to be talking about is in theory, and most of the time I find it very difficult to achieve all 5 things at once, and when you do get them all, it's amazing and it's a victory and you leave it at that, basically. As you guys know, I've been riding Splash and I've been getting a lot of jumps where I have got all these 5 things and it feels beautiful. So I thought I would share with you kind of the 5 broken down parts that I have been working on to kind of get this nice jump towards the end. So the first thing is a forward horse. Now Splash is already naturally forward. The horses I've ridden in the past aren't very forward or forward thinking, like Winston for example. He's quite behind the leg when he wants to be. But there are a lot of horses who are going fast but they are not forward. Being a forward horse means they're thinking in front of you, they're 1 step ahead of you, and you don't have to keep pressuring them to keep moving, basically. So you need a forward horse to get a nice jump. They need to be elastic, they need to be relaxed, but they need to be going forward. That doesn't mean fast, that doesn't mean they need to be going 50 miles an hour, just means that they need to be thinking a little bit ahead, both mentally, and they need to be moving a little bit ahead of you physically. The thing is balance. Now, obviously, if you look at us, for example, not that I am much of an athletics person, but if you look at hurdles, for example, you need balance. For running quickly, for jumping things, balance is very important, whether that be going around corners, which I'll get to later, or coming up to the jump, or after the jump. Balance is very important. So what I like to do is when my horse is going forward, I turn and I head for the jump. I like to capture that energy and put it into a balanced form. So whether that be, sit back, get some half halts, or sit with a deep seat, or make sure my horse is straight. All these other things can add up to balance, and balance is obviously important because when your horse has nice balance, they're going to jump much nicer and get that nice scope that everyone's looking for. So balance is the next thing. These kind of things, I don't really want to tell you how to get them because like I've said before, I'm not an instructor, so I don't want to tell you how to get these things. I want to tell you what I think about getting, or the 5 things I'm envisaging, if that's a word. Envisioning, I don't know if that's a word. Imagining when I'm riding a horse or when I'm riding up to a jump. Okay, so the third thing is you want a nice corner. Now, personally, I feel like corners can be ridden really badly, really average, or really well. When I ride into a corner, the biggest thing I think about is I want to bend my horse into the corner. I don't want him to veer around like a motorbike. That is something big that me and Splash are working on at the moment, that I'm trying to achieve that bend and that inside flexion, because if you bring that flat work aspect of it, getting that bend and getting the flexion, that's going to create a much nicer balance into your corner. So you're bringing the balance and you're putting it into the corner. And I tend to think, depending on the angle of which you're coming at your jump, you can either think about riding it as a soft right angle. That's what I like to think of. But bending around the inside leg is the biggest thing that I think of. And that will set you up for your straight line, it'll set you up for your balance, and overall you're just going to get a big picture of what you're coming up to if you ride a nice corner, and your horse is they're going to feel much nicer too. And so a nice corner is the third thing that I think is imminent when you're trying to get a really nice jump. The fourth thing is a straight line. Now obviously if you have a jump, you should turn and you should come to it dead at a straight line. That is just how you jump, that is what should happen. However, for example, let's say you're doing an angled jumping exercise where you're intentionally supposed to come at it from an angle, which we've done before and we've done in lessons, and it's a good way of testing, it's a good way of testing a bunch of things, but By straight line, I don't always mean coming dead at it like in a perpendicular, like a T sense. But if you think about, you know, if I'm coming in an angled jump, let's say, this is still a straight line. I'm talking about don't come through like this, wobbling up to your jump and fiddling and coming in wobbling. That's what I'm talking about. Obviously, it's much easier and it will look much nicer if you come at a straight line, perpendicular with a T. But if you're ever doing like a angled jumping exercise, also taking in the aspect of make sure you're coming on a straight line in the sense that you're not wobbling up and down the line. Again, retains your horse's balance. It will not mess up your striding, so your distance is going to be much more even and you're going to be able to see your distance much better. And the fifth thing obviously that we want when we're jumping is you want a good distance. So you have a deep distance, you have an away distance. You have a deep distance, you have an away distance. Or you can get chips, you can get cat leaps, you can get all these, there's a whole range of things. What you're looking for is that middle ground where it's just canter, 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 and it feels nice at the end. So that middle ground, you know, is my horse, does it feel nice? Is the striding even? The whole time up, is my striding even? And he takes off on the beginning of a new stride. It's not like 1, 2, 3, oh, and then he jumps over. That was very exaggerated of me. But that's the fifth thing. When I know that I have gotten a good distance, most of it means that beforehand, a lot of it has fallen together really well. So they're the 5 things that I look for when I'm jumping that creates the perfect jump for me. So a forward thinking, forward momentum, forward horse who's in front of your leg. The second thing, which I said, was balance. Your horse needs balance. Your horse needs to be able to, you need to sit back and balance your horse so that he's not flying around corners and he's not jumping crazily or he's not going to get a bad distance. You need balance. Third thing, nice corners. You need to get nice corners. It's going to set you up much nicer for your jump. The fourth thing, straight lines. Whether you're coming at an angle, don't wobble. Whether you're coming at a perpendicular sense, stay straight. A straight line. Even if you're looking at your line coming up to your jump, even if you need to get off your horse and stand on the ground and plot out where you're going to walk. I've done that before. There's no shame in doing that. So make sure you have a good line. Fifth thing is a good distance. Once I have known I've gotten all those 5 things, that for me is a successful jump. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This wasn't really a how-to video. It was more just kind of some things you could think about. You know, if you're starting jumping or you've been jumping now and you feel like things aren't going very well, try and break it down into these 5 stages and you'll eventually get a much, much nicer jump. So these are bits you can break it down into that will just allow you and your horse to process it a little bit better. And I find that when I ride, if I break things up in stages to begin with, eventually putting it all together becomes much easier. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below any video ideas you have for me or anything you'd like me to film. And I will see you in next week's video. Goodbye!